Welcome to the Golden Four Culture podcast. This is the space where faith, leadership, and career collide. It is where we explore what it truly means to bring your whole self, including your faith, into the workplace. Faith was never meant to be separate from our calling. It was meant to shape the way we lead, the way we work, and the way we show up in the world. Today, I want to talk about heartbreak, not the kind that comes from relationships, not the kind that comes from losing something small. I'm talking about the kind of heartbreak when the dream you built your life around shatters before you, the kind of heartbreak that makes you question your purpose, your path, even your faith. Because for years, I knew exactly where I was going. I wasn't just working at McDonald's, I was in love with McDonald's. It was more than a job, it was the dream. And not just any dream, the dream I had given my all to. I wanted to be head of HR for corporate stores. That wasn't just a title for me, it was the future I had envisioned. McDonald's wasn't just a place where I clocked in and out, it was home. It was where I learned how to lead, navigate corporate America, build strategy, and fight for people. McDonald's was the company I had committed to. Like some people dream of a wedding, I dreamed of walking into the corporate headquarters as the head of HR, leading people, building the future, and changing lives. I gave years to that dream. I invested everything. And when the time came to take that next step, I was ready. I knew I was ready. I applied for a director position, then another, and another, and another. 4 director roles, 4 rejections. And let me tell you something, that wasn't just a professional setback. That was heartbreak. Because when you build your life towards something, when you put in the work, when you train for it, when you see it so clearly that you can almost touch it, and then the door closes, it feels like you lost a part of yourself. I remember sitting there staring at that final rejection email. I had put in the work, mastered the business, learned how to think like an executive, operate like a leader, and drive results. And yet, God said no, not once, not twice, 4 times. And I was angry because I knew I was qualified. And not just qualified, I knew that God Himself had trained me. He put me in McDonald's for a reason. He gave me mentors, knowledge, hands on experience. He had me learning the ins and outs of the business at the highest level. So why? Why would God give me the dream, the passion, the preparation, only to take it away? I sat in that anger. I wrestled with God because let's be real. Sometimes faith isn't just trusting God. Sometimes it's fighting with Him. And I fought, God, why would you give me this passion if it wasn't meant to happen? God, you know I was ready. Why didn't you let them see it? God, this was the dream. This was what I worked for. This was the plan. And all I kept hearing in my spirit was, this assignment is over. I didn't want to hear it. Because what happens when your identity is wrapped up in a dream that God says is over? What happens when the thing you wanted more than anything isn't what God has for you? I wasn't just hurt, I was lost, and then life shifted again. Because just as I was wrestling with this career heartbreak, I got a phone call. My mom had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and suddenly nothing else mattered. Not the job, not the promotion, not the title, just time. Time with my mother, time to be with her, time to pause. I took a leave of absence from McDonald's, and when I came back, I wasn't the same. The dream was gone, not because I had stopped loving McDonald's, but because I had changed. McDonald's hadn't changed, the job hadn't changed, but I had. And I knew, deep in my spirit, this assignment was over. So I walked away. No backup plan, no next step lined up, just faith. Because sometimes faith leadership isn't about climbing, it's about knowing when to leave. And I had no idea what was next until one day, out of nowhere, I got a call. A friend from high school, someone who just so happened to share my exact birthday, reached out. She had a referral for a position at the Associated Press, and I wasn't even looking for it. But something in me knew I had to go for it. When I walked into that interview, everything clicked. The leader interviewing me had gone to FSU, just like me. There was an instant connection. And suddenly, I found myself walking into a position that was never on my radar, but was exactly where I needed to be. And here's the fundamental shift. For the first time in my career, I wasn't just bringing my skills to the table, I was getting my faith. Today, I'm an HR business partner at the Associated Press, working with C-suite leaders in one of the world's most respected news organizations. This is a company built on integrity, values, and truth. A company that refuses to bend to political pressure and still stands by facts in a time of misinformation everywhere. When politicians wanted to rewrite history and call it the Gulf of America, the Associated Press said, no, it's the Gulf of Mexico. They didn't fold. They didn't change the facts to fit an agenda. They stood their ground. And that's where I landed. I am at a company that values integrity. I am at a company that stands for truth, just like I do, at a company where I didn't have to fight to belong. I just had to step into the assignment God had prepared for me. If you're in a season where a dream has died, don't mistake it for the end of your purpose, because just like Joseph, you might think you're supposed to be in one place, but your destiny is more significant than where you started. The real question is, are you willing to trust God even when the dream doesn't happen as you thought it would? This is Jeff Cumberbatch, and this has been Golden for Culture. If this episode spoke to you, share it, subscribe, and let's keep the conversation going, because faith and career were never meant to be separate, and neither was your dream.